Hello everyone, I am Ghazi Sultan and welcome to my channel. I am a software engineer with more than 5 years of experience and I have worked with multiple startups and helped them raise funds and grow their revenue, and in the process I have built uh, multiple products from scratch. Now I am going to start uploading videos with a series of 3 videos where I am going to build a pipeline to deploy a Django application to Amazon ECS, that is Elastic Container Service, via GitHub Actions. So there are of course some prerequisites. You should be familiar with first AWS, second GitHub, and third Docker. And I am also expecting that you have Docker installed. If you don't have it installed, you can follow like online resources or chat GPT and uh, install it on your local computer. You also need to have AWS CLI installed on your computer, so that is also a pretty straightforward thing to do. And then you need to have GitHub installed. Mostly if you are a programmer, there would be a GitHub installed on your system, so you don't have to worry about it. Now with that out of the way, let's see what we are going to achieve in this first video. So creating a Django application is out of scope of this video. So I have created a basic Django application and added a health check endpoint so we can see if the application is running correctly wherever, be it local or Docker container or the ECS that we are going to deploy it on later. So everything is working fine so far. I can check with health check endpoint that the service is up and running. It says on local host. Now we are going to create a Docker file, and then we'll try to build an image and run the Django application inside a Docker container. Okay, so I am going to shut down the server and create a Docker file for now. Touch Docker file. So we have a Docker file added here. Now we are just going to do from, and then for every Docker file we have to start from a base image, and for in our case the base image will be Python 3.12, which is Alpine. And then the next step is that we are going to create a working directory inside the Docker container. So we are just going to, we don't need to create, we can just say working directory and we are going to say app. So app will become our working directory. Now think of it this way, that we are going to copy everything from our local to our working directory, which we are already in. So we are just going to do copy from the root of local to the working directory of Docker. Now here is a fun thing, like we need to install all the package requirements inside the Docker container, but we don't need to activate virtual environment. Why? Because Docker container is already a virtual environment, so we don't need to create virtual env. Now we still need to install packages, and for that we need to like have a file with the packages. So if you are a little familiar with Django, you know that we generate a Docker file with pip freeze requirements.txt. Okay, so we have the requirements.txt here now. So we are just going to say run pip install -r requirements.txt, and then now almost everything is done. We just need to run the command to start the server. So for that we are going to run the same command that we had on our local, but the format is a little different, so just bear with me for a second. So this is going to run the server inside the Docker container on port 8000, and we have created our Docker file. The next thing we are going to do is build an image with this Docker file, and for that we need to have Docker installed and running on our system. So you can see that I have the Docker running here, and so we can directly get into creating the Docker image. So to build the Docker image, we are going to run the build command, which is docker build -t. We are going to name our image something. So let's say in our case we are just going to say uh, stable slash hello doc, right? And then we are going to start from the root directory, which is dot. It takes a while to build the image for the first time. Now we are going to just run it and check if everything is working correctly. So we are going to do docker run, and another thing here, we are running the server inside the Docker container on port 8000, but how are we going to access the API from our local machine? So for that we need to bind our port with the port of the Docker container. So we are just going to add an option here for that, which is -p 8000 colon 8000. This actually binds the same ports on local and Docker container. Now we are going to name the image. So the name of the image is stable slash hello doc. So we are just going to do that, and then we are going to run it. Okay, everything is working, it seems, and we don't have a local server running right now, right? So we are just going to check if everything is running, and for that we will come here. We are just going to copy this and close this, and then we are going to try and run it again. Okay, so it is running correctly, right? Now we are just going to make a slight change so we can rebuild everything and see if it reflects. So for that we are just going to write it in all caps, and now we are going to build the image again. So for that we can just do docker build -t again. Now let's run the server again and check if everything is working correctly. Okay, you can see that everything reflects here correct. We have successfully built a Docker file and then run the Docker container and tested everything, and everything is working correctly. Now in the next video we are going to uh, connect our local machine with ECS, and we are going to push our Docker image that we are building on local to ECR, which is the Elastic Container Registry where Docker images are stored in AWS, and then we are going to run the same Docker container that is running on our local inside ECS. Thank you for watching, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel, and if you have any questions please drop it down in the comment sections below, and see you in the next video. Bye.